Aqidah before you taught us about emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Because everything we have, the problems we have, whether it's adult or youth, is because our Aqidah is not correct.
Yeah.
And as a result, we go sideways.
I would like to rephrase your sentence.
Okay.
Rather than say our Aqidah is not correct, our Aqidah is not complete, not correct. It is not complete, and we don't understand it fully, okay? But there's a difference between I don't understand it completely or fully, between to start with is wrong. To start with, inshallah, we're not wrong. We believe Allah is the one and the only one. We worship Him. We know He is the Creator, He is the Ilah, and all of that. But to know more, yesterday in Khutbah al-Jum'ah, somebody came to me after the Salah and he said, can you give me a title for the Khutbah? I said, what title would you have? He said, I don't know. I said, well, when I made the Khutbah, I had in mind all the time, everything I'm writing, Allah is Ar-Raqib. I'm explaining the word Allah is Ar-Raqib. This is all what I want. Allah is Ar-Raqib. Even though the title of the khutbah was أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Okay, that when I believe that I'm gonna be resurrected on the judgment day, you know, and to stand between the hands of Allah, I need to ultimately then, I know that Allah is Ar-Raqib. He's watching everything I believe in, watching everything I have in my heart, and watching everything I do. You see? Even though Ar-Raqib, I got concentrated on what you do. He's watching you on what you're doing. But also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching your heart, watching your intention, watching the way you talk, and why you talk it, why you said it. And then the ayah, Allah yazunnu ulaika annahum. And then the scholar said, I think one of the best tafsir ever, and that's my opinion, is tafsir al-Tahrir wa-Tanwir li-Ibn Ashur. Al-Tahrir wa-Tanwir li-Ibn Ashur is one of the best tafsir, rahimahullah. He died not too long ago, but you know, he's one of the recent ones. But it looks like he had collectively gathered in his tafsir all the most important point on all the other tafsir and put it there. Imam ibn Ashur, Al-Tahir ibn Ashur, rahimahullah, he said, the most important thing about this ayah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not put those three ayat as one ayah. He made them three ayat. أَلَا يَظُنُّ أُولَٰئِكَ أَنَّهُمْ مَبْعُوثُونَ Ayah. لِيَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ Ayah. يَوْمَ يَقُومُ النَّاسُ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ Ayah. Why? Each one has to be by itself to show the strength and the importance of it. Okay? It's not like all together. If each one is important. So when you think, now here, talking to the brain in the same token, when you're talking to my brain, you're going to be resurrected. That's a fact. You have to believe in. If you believe in that fact itself has to straighten your life. If you're going to be resurrected and you're going to stand, you're going to be resurrected. There will be a very great day. A day like none others. True. The judgment day, it is not like the day of the dunya. It's not like the days of the akhirah after that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ma'arij, that particular day, that's why the scholar, they said, is it different? All the days of al-akhirah are the same? No, they're not. The judgment day, 50,000 sana, 50,000 years. But the rest of the days in the akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Wallahu a'lam, that's one of the scholars said, كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ. Some people took كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ, they gave it a different interpretation. Okay? But either way, that particular day is a special day. If it is not, it's only for this ayah. The Yawm al-Azim, this Yawm al-Azim. And then the Prophet ﷺ was so scared at that particular day. What did he say? إِنَّ رَبِّي قَدْ قد غضب اليوم غضبا لم يغضب مثله قبله ولن يغضب مثله بعده. That hadith give you how significant is that particular day. Because the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ghadiba in such a way that he did not get mad in any day since the beginning of the creation before and since the rest of the creation بعد. So that gives it specialty. ليوم عظيم. Why it is يوم عظيم? يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين. And then we have to talk about what does it mean يقوم. And that's another explanation, another study for the word يقوم. You know that. But when you're talking to a person and you made him believe that he's going to be resurrected and he's going to be held accountable, he's going to stand between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why some of the Sahaba, like what came to us in the Seerah, that when they stand up for the Salah, they used to shiver. They used to be so scared. He said, I'm remembering to stand between the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the judgment day. When I'm standing right now between his hand and the Salah, I'm remembering how to stand up between his hand on the judgment day. You see, so they're scared. They are ashamed of themselves to stand between the hands of Allah, and they have that many mistakes or that much wrong, you know. So anyway, so when you believe that you're going to stand up and you're going to be asked, you're going to be questioned, by whom? Wallahi, if the FBI called me right now, I'll be scared. Be true. If they came to take me from my home, I'll be scared. What am I going to do? How long are they going to keep me? Are they going to torture me? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? If you get scared from a human being, how would you get scared from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How would you get scared from the angels that are going to ask you in the grave? All of these, if you really believe, we're talking about the brain, that should have straightened up your action. But when I said this before, some people said, then why people make mistakes? We make mistakes because we forget. We make mistakes because sometimes our desire and our body get control of our soul, get overcome. We make like that with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You look, I hope you can see the essence of choosing the word in the Quran and how it is important. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ تَذَكَّرُوا. That means there are two actions here. مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ, because their body, their desire, their lust took over. And they forget. Because if they have not forgotten, there wouldn't be the word تَذَكَّرُوا. فَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. So look at the word مَسَّهُمْ تَذَكَّرُوا. مَسَّهُمْ تَذَكَّرُوا. تَذَكَّرُوا, the opposite, that there is forgiveness, that you have forgotten. Or, you know, and the مَسَّهُمْ, that means this is not their standard in living. That means it's something tariq. It is not the life itself, okay? It's your life is good, massahu, they came, you know, something accidentally or something tariq, you know, it's not. Okay, and so on. Who trained the brain and the heart?
Yeah.
And they said if Islamic studies,
Yeah.
what does this have to do with this?
It says if during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were people who died as kuffar and there were people who were munafiqeen, right?
Okay.
And there would be on the day of judgment many prophets who would come with one or two followers and somebody would come with none.
Mafhum. I don't understand. Those people who did that kuffar, what's your concern about them?
I'm saying, what are the limitations of the person who trains the heart and mind?
If I understand you correctly, you could present the fact, okay, get a smoker. Show him, as they wrote in the pack of cigarette, smoking causes cancer. You see, they read that. They hear all the information about it, but they still smoke.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. The kafir is the same way. We tell him who Allah is. We tell him the way to succeed in the hereafter. They choose not to. They still smoke. They're still on the state of kufr. So what do I need to do? My job is over. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ إِن لَّمْ يَكُونُوا مُؤْمِنِينَ. Are you going to cut yourself and struggle yourself and be in agony because they did not believe? It's not your job. إِنْ عَلَيْكَ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. You have to tell them. It's only your job is to tell them. I'm a doctor, I tell them, you keep smoking, you're going to have cancer. You're going to have this, you're going to have that. You listen, it's fine. You quit. If you don't listen, that's your problem. You understand?
Okay, for smoking, there is a short-term reward.
Say what? I can't understand what you're saying.
For smoking, they release some hormones which gives you instant feeling of satisfaction,
شو
right?
هذا بيشان؟
بيعطوا هرمونات مشان يعطيك ساتسفاكشن للسيجارت اللي يبطلوا يعني هن بيعطوكم شيء ليبطل.
So what do you want me to do?
So, but
Do you want me
Islam...
to make
No,
many drugs
no,
for the
no,
kuffar
no.
to become
Sorry.
Muslim?
I didn't say that. I said Islam is going to give you the reward in the long term. So how would you convince the person?
It is not my job.
Okay.
My job is to tell him. You see?
Yeah.
I have to tell him the truth. I have to show him in such a way. I have to talk to his brain. But if his brain is closed up, what do? Khalid al-Walid, radiallahu anhu, he became Muslim in the 8th year of Al-Hijrah.
When he tried everything.
Huh?
When he tried everything and nothing passed, he became Muslim.
والله ما أفهم شو عم تقولي.
Yeah. Continue, brother.
So they asked Sayyidina Khalid, you are so intelligent and you're so smart. One of the best leaders in the world in the history is the way, he's intelligent. How to direct the battlefield and how to do this, how to do that. Isn't your brain, why your brain did not lead you to Islam? I hope that will answer your question. Is that a logical question? You're so intelligent. And why you became so late in coming to Islam?
Yeah, I know.
What did he say? He said, we were infatuated with big people like Abu Jahl and Abu Flan, So in their mind, he was convinced that Abu Jahl, which they call him Abu al-Hakam. Abu al-Hakam means, the father of wise, or the father of wisdom. That's how high rank was in Quraysh. They were following him because he is the master, he is the leader. He said, we thought so highly of those people. He was convinced since he was little that those people will lead you in the right way. So they followed them. It took him so long to change his mind, to change his point of view. Then when he changed his mind, he became a Muslim. So some people, answering the question, some people, it takes them so much to change their mind. Maybe it takes time to change their mind. Maybe some other scholar, they said, maybe it takes a miracle. Abdullah Mas'ud radiallahu anhu was a little boy, very little. He as a person, very tiny, Abdullah Mas'ud. To the fact that when he used to do with the sheeps, the sheep, he was a sheep birder. He used to tie himself with 2 or 3 sheep because if the wind blew up, that will take him away. You know, he will be blown by the brain, by the wind. That's why he used to tie himself not to be blown away with 2 or 3 sheep. You know, he was tiny. One day in the Medina, the Prophet ﷺ was looking at some date up there. And then Abdullah Mas'ud saw him. He said, لَعَلَّكَ تُرِيدُهُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Maybe you want some of that? The Prophet ﷺ did this. So he climbed. So when he climbed, everybody was laughing, break laughing. Why they're laughing? Because his tiny legs are so tiny. When he went up, they saw him. So the Prophet ﷺ said, you're laughing from his tiny, you know, legs? Wallahi, in the leg of him, أثقل عند الله من جبل أحد. It's heavier, you know, on the judgment day than the mountain of Uhud. So this Abdullah Mas'ud, this young guy, he was taking care of some sheep for Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayyid. So the Prophet ﷺ passed by him in the desert of Quraysh, you know, in the desert of Mecca. So they saw Abdullah Mas'ud. Abdullah Mas'ud was a young guy with all those sheep running around. And the Prophet ﷺ said, give up some of the milk. Give up some of the milk. You know, what did he say? They said, the scholar, they said he was about 14 years old. He's not like an older guy. And he doesn't know the Prophet ﷺ. Yani he does not believe. He's still working with Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayyid. He said, Inni mu'taman. I'm responsible. You know, I was trusted with those. So it's not, it doesn't belong to me. I cannot give you any milk from these. Show you, the scholar said that to show the goodness of his heart. You know, so the person who has goodness in his heart, it's easy for him to believe. So the Prophet ﷺ said, don't you have a sheep that does not have any milk? Because the milk belongs to your master. Well, give us some sheep. It doesn't have any milk. So Abdullah Mas'ud said, here's one. Is so sick. Does not have milk. Okay. So the Prophet ﷺ took it and وَمَسَحَ عَلَى ضِرْعِهَا. You know, he passed his hand and he made Bismillah and he made some dua. And Abu Bakr with him only, and Abdullah Mas'ud with him. And Abdullah Mas'ud is not a believer. And then they see slowly that the other is making full a little bit by little bit, getting full of milk a little bit by little bit. And Abdullah Mas'ud is looking at him. He cannot believe. And then when it became full, the other became full of milk, he said, well, milk this and give us. Okay. This, that does not belong to that guy anymore. So he milked it and made it so much, you know. So the Prophet ﷺ drank, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu drank, and Abdullah ibn Mas'ud drank. So Abdullah Mas'ud, he drank, he couldn't believe it. He said, who is this guy? To Sayyidina Abu Bakr. So Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, Hada Rasulullah. What does he invite us to do? La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. He said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Some people, it takes them a miracle to be convinced. Some people just telling them the fact, they are convinced. All the people now around the world nowadays, they're getting Muslim by what? By miracle? No. They're getting Muslim by using the brain, by showing them the fact. Some other people are becoming Muslim by comparison. You know, I believe in this. Well, logically, this is not right. So there must be something else. So they start searching, you know. This is what they call by comparison. And so they find Islam, and then they became Muslim, you know, because of comparison. Now, they said, here as a result of what we talked about is صلاح العمل مرتبط بصلاح القلب.